How you doing, everybody? Vasu Vaddiparty for Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. This is the Make the Money and Run podcast minute, powered by Stables Media. Just thought we'd get some stuff and some information out there for you regarding games. We're here every Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. There we are, 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific, Facebook Live and YouTube. If you miss any of the live broadcasts and our picks, feel free to download and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Casey Freelove, Charlie O, myself, all the hosts of the show. We talk about games, we talk about the outcomes, we talk about the point spreads, we talk about the overs and unders, we talk about everything that's related to sports wagering, as well as talk about the games itself. So that's what we do there. Again, we're powered by Stables Media. Thanks to everybody on Facebook Live and YouTube as well for watching us. Any comments you have, anything about games that we've got. A very limited schedule in Major League Baseball, and I wanted to get on there today to promote the show as well for Thursday and Friday. Charlie O and I will be on Thursday, and then the three of us will be back on Friday at 4:15 Eastern and 1:15 Pacific. A lot going on in Major League Baseball today. A couple of games of interest. The Padres' 9-game winning streak was broken yesterday by Milwaukee. They are going into Game 2, 5-3 the final score there. The game went over. The Padres did not cover the money line, as Blake Snell was pitching against Brandon Woodruff. Woodruff looked great. Padres got 3 in the ninth, but it was a little too late. San Diego, Milwaukee go today. Corbin Burns, who still hasn't walked anybody this year. Corbin Burns has not walked a batter this year. We are at May 25th. He set the record for most strikeouts and no walks to start a year last start, and now he continues to do that. He still has not walked anybody. Can you imagine a starting pitcher going through a season without walking anybody? I'm sure it's going to happen at some point, but it may not happen today. The Padres are very aggressive. Joe Musgrove, who has one of the 6 no-hitters this year. That's right, 6 no-hitters by May 25th. Joe Musgrove has one of them, as he threw that about a month ago in Texas against the Rangers. Other games of note: Cincinnati Reds, Washington Nationals. Two teams kind of cellar dwelling right now, middle of the pack in their divisions, but it's always fun to watch Max Scherzer pitch. Tyler Mahle got ripped up by the Giants last Thursday afternoon. Giants scored 19 runs. They got 9 of them or 10 of them off Tyler Mahle last Thursday afternoon in Cincinnati. Of course, it's a great American ballpark. We know what kind of home run output and what kind of runs get scored there. So I'll have a pick on that game as well, too. Miami Marlins always play well against the Phillies. Sandy Alcantara, their ace, Vinny Velasquez, going for the Phillies tonight. And then one of the other big games, San Francisco Giants just got swept by the Dodgers. They're going to Arizona to hopefully get healthy. Their ace, Kevin Gausman, one of the best pitchers in the National League. Kevin Gausman, Corbin Martin. Kevin Martin, about a $1.60 favorite. Corbin Martin, $1.50 underdog, 9 the total there in Arizona. Yankees and Toronto open up their series. Toronto lost 6 straight. Steven Matz goes for the Blue Jays. He struggled his last 3 starts. Corey Kluber coming off his own no-hitter last week against the Rangers. That means the Rangers have been no-hit twice. There have been several teams that have been no-hit twice this year. I think Seattle's one of them, and Cleveland is one of them as well, too. Can anybody be no-hit for the first time ever for a third time in a season? It's only May 25th. We got a long way to go. Kluber, about a $1.80 favorite, 9 over. We'll have a pick on that game as well, too. Also, the first place Boston Red Sox are hosting the Atlanta Braves in an interleague matchup. Garrett Richards has struggled a little bit. He's a home dog, surprisingly, for a team that has the best record in baseball with 29 wins. Charlie Morton, who's really struggled for the Braves, goes out there on the mound. 9.5, the over-under on this game as well, too. Look for a lot of runs in Boston between Charlie Morton, Garrett Richards. The Red Sox are hot hitting. The Atlanta Braves are hot hitting as well, too, with both those lineups expected to be a football score. The Patriots and the Falcons. Anybody remember the Patriots and Falcons? Sorry, Atlanta fans. I didn't mean to bring that up again, but that's what this reminds me of as soon as I saw Boston and Atlanta. Sorry about that. And then, as a Dodgers fan, coming off the 3-game sweep in San Francisco, felt bad for the Giants a little bit, but the Dodgers needed the victories. And without Betts, without Bellinger, without Seager, they are going to go into Houston to start a 3-game series against the Houston Astros in Houston. Clayton Kershaw against former Dodger Zach Greinke. Of course, the Astros and the cheating scandal from 2017. I'm over it. A lot of Dodgers fans are not over it. A lot of A's fans are not over with it, as well as the Astros have taken the division from the A's 2 years in a row. Speaking of the A's, they did lose to Seattle last night. Kikuchi was great on the mound. They go with Cole Irvin, who's been a really good pitcher for them, against Logan Gilbert. Somebody tell me out there, I live in the Bay Area, somebody tell me out there what the A's do really, really well. Because the A's, Their bullpen is kind of shaky. They don't hit in the clutch as well as they do. They grind out at bats. I'll give them that. They play good defense. Chapman and Olsen at third and first play good defense. They got Elvis Andrus to play short as well. They play good They all play good defense. So maybe that's it. Then Ramon Laureano has a great arm in center field. Jose Barrios goes for the last place Twins tonight. Rich Hill for the Tampa Bay Rays against the Royals. Let's see, anything else in baseball that looks interesting? How about the Rockies? 2-15 on the road. They get their third win yesterday. They beat the New York Mets on the road. So what's your reward? You get Jacob deGrom coming off the injured list. Kyle Freeland, the left-hander, who give Mets hitters trouble, left-handers do, going up against Jacob deGrom. So it'll be very interesting to see how Jacob deGrom comes back after missing a start or two coming out of the game in between warm-ups between the 5th and 6th inning. He did get a win in that game. He's 2-3, folks, maybe 3-3 now with that win. 3-3 with a 0.80 ERA. Somewhere under 1. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I guarantee it's under 1, and he's not getting run support. People in San Francisco remember Matt Cain, Madison Bumgarner never getting run support for some of those years. It is not like that at all for Jacob deGrom. The last 3 years, look it up, his run support is probably less than 3 runs a game on average. So, and then one other story in the major leagues tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago White Sox. I'm not going to bet on this game. It's going to be an interesting game. White Sox in first place in the AL Central. The Cardinals in first place in the NL Central. Lucas Giolito, the home team White Sox, coming off a 2-1 victory yesterday, going up against Jack Flaherty of the St. Louis Cardinals. By the way, Jack Flaherty, 8-0, an ERA of about 2.7. Early Cy Young candidate? Yeah, I think so. Lucas Giolito, the ace of the White Sox, they're mashing the ball. Plus 77 runs differential, plus 70-plus run differential in baseball, the best. White Sox mashing the ball for Tony La Russa coming back into his first year. By the way, it'll be the first time Tony La Russa has managed a team against the St. Louis Cardinals, for which he spent 12 seasons with, including 2 world championships, one in 2006 and one in 2011. Back in the dugout in the White Sox uniform where he first got started way back in 1979. Okay, Vasu Vaddiparty here with the Make the Money and Run podcast. We'll get to picks in a second, but the story of Lucas Giolito. Oh, I didn't finish the story about Giolito. I'm sorry. I'm used to Casey and Charlie here. Giolito and Flaherty and Max Fried of the Atlanta Braves. These 3 guys were in Westlake, California in high school all together. All 3 of these guys were on the same pitching staff. Are you kidding me? How did they ever lose? I want to find out what their record is in 3 years. Anybody listening in Los Angeles that lives in the Westlake area, Harvard Westlake, I think it's called. My buddy Rob Clark, shout out to Rob Clark. He gave me the name of the school. He knows the story. Excuse me. Flaherty and Giolito on that Westlake team. Max Fried on that team too. First time Flaherty and Giolito are facing each other. Lucas Giolito, Jack Flaherty's mom, used to carpool all 3 of them to high school games, or at least the 2 of them. Followed all their careers. She's going to have a tough time rooting for Jack Flaherty tonight, but you know what? I think blood trumps. I think she's going to go for Flaherty tonight on the road at the White Sox. Good job, Mrs. Flaherty, but it's going to be tough to watch Lucas Giolito pitch against your son, and everything will be good on there. 137 for Giolito on the odds, 8 under, 125. All right, Vasu Vaddiparty here, Make the Money and Run podcast. Let's get to the NBA real quick. 2 games in the NBA tonight, 3 games in the NBA tonight. Brooklyn, a 1-0 series lead on Boston. They moved up to 9 and 227. Lakers came from a 2-point underdog all the way to -1.5 in Game 2 after getting beat 99-90 on Sunday. Both those games on TNT tonight. And then the Clippers, who lost to the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday as a 6-point favorite, lost outright, are going to have the Mavericks as a 7-point favorite tonight. 215 the total, 210 on the Phoenix Lakers game, 227 on the Brooklyn and Boston game. You know what? We're going to take 30 seconds here. I'm going to get some water here. That's the way life goes sometimes. But without Charlie and Casey here, I'm going to make sure I'm hydrated a little bit. Back in 30 to talk about the NBA and to close out the show. right, made it just in time back to the Make the Money and Run podcast. Vasu Vaddiparty, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays, 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific. Thanks to everybody on Facebook Live right now, YouTube Live. Download and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast for the picks. Okay, where did I leave off? The NBA. You notice in game twos, and I was talking to people that are in the know in this in sports wagering, and I like to think I'm in the know, but sometimes that doesn't always work the case out. And I'm sure if I don't get any comments about that, saying I'm in the know about something, we'll react and get people to have comments on that for sure. So whether I think I'm in the know or not, the fact is the lines drastically change from game ones to game two, especially the Brooklyn Nets. They were a 7-point favorite, went up to 8 by game time. It's 9 now. The Lakers have gone. Everybody thinks the Lakers are going to win the series anyway. They were a 2-point underdog. Game ones, they always have trouble in game ones. I should have listened to my first instinct on that game. But I'm a Lakers fan as well, too. But the under did come through on Sunday. And I think the under will come through again. The line is right there at 210, and I think the under will come through again. Dallas at 7. That line goes up from game one. It's hard to win game twos in the NBA playoffs, especially if the road team has won game one. Dallas looking to go up 2-0. The Memphis Grizzlies are looking up to go 2-0. And what happened to Portland last night, they got boat raced by the Denver Nuggets. Even a short-staffed Denver Nuggets team. Jokic was great. And Michael Porter Jr. was great. Who else scored a few points for them? I don't remember the box score, but I know that they were all great. They had a big lead. It got up to 19 and 20. They ended up winning by 21. But how about Dame Lillard? He tried to keep them in the first half. He got them down to 6 from being down 12. Got them down to 4 at one point in the third quarter. 32 points in the first half for Lillard. I think it's just like a pitcher. I think his arm just got sore. And I think that's what ended up happening with the Portland Trailblazers. They ended up losing by 20, but the game did go over, and that was good because there are a lot of points being scored in that series. You didn't know what kind of offense Denver was going to have coming into the series based on the injuries, and Monty Morris also played well. That's who I'm thinking of. Monty Morris back off the injured list. He played well as well, too, because they're missing a big key component in Jamal Murray. All right, so those are the NBA games for today. We look at tomorrow's games. Washington, Philadelphia. Washington did cover. They're still a dangerous 8th seed. It's not going to be a sweep by the Sixers. When they get back to Washington, if Washington doesn't win tonight, I have a feeling Washington's going to get one game against Philadelphia, but this is the number 8 seed. But Washington played really well the last 5 weeks. They're going into it. Now, the Knicks were a 1-point favorite going into game 2. They're now a 2-point favorite after Trae Young gets a layup at the buzzer to beat the Knicks in game 1, 107-105. Actually, it was more than that. They went over. But anyway, the point is that Atlanta got the game 1. They're trying to go up 2-0 on the road. What happened to the Knicks? Tom Thibodeau came in. Their defense played great. They were not the laughingstock of the league, and New York is a very happy place when the Knicks are playing basketball, even more so than the Nets. That will always be a Knicks town and not a Nets town. Memphis Grizzlies, even though Donovan Mitchell did not play game 1, that does not bode well for Utah because Memphis is playing very well right now. Memphis 8.5, 218. I'm sorry, plus 8.5 and 218. Utah favored in that game. They are going to get Donovan Mitchell back. That is tomorrow. That is the late game, 10 o'clock Eastern. Washington, Philadelphia, 7:05 Eastern. Atlanta, New York, 7:35. Both Atlanta, New York, Memphis, Utah on TNT. Let's hit the hockey real quick. Nashville got a win last night. They keep that series close. Toronto is up 2-1 after their series victory, after their game 3 victory over Montreal. Very interesting. They're playing back-to-back nights, and then tomorrow the other games. Tomorrow the other games will go on. All right. Most important part of the segment is picks right now. The first pick I have is the Washington Nationals, Cincinnati Reds over 7.5. Maile and Scherzer. I told you what Tyler Maile did against the Giants last week, so that's the one pick that I have in baseball. The other pick in baseball I have is the Red Sox and the Braves. Look at those lineups all the way from top to bottom, starting with Ronald Acuna Jr. for Atlanta leading off the game, starting with Verdugo, J.D. Martinez, Rafael Devers. The lineup for the Boston Red Sox is stacked. That's why they're winning. It's not their pitching. It's not their bullpen. 9.5 the over. Charlie Morton's been struggling. You take a struggling pitcher and you put him in a park like Fenway, it could be like a pinball machine. Anybody seen a pinball machine lately? I don't think anybody's seen a pinball machine lately. But Charlie Morton and Garrett Richards, 9.5 over at 9.5 over the line for the Atlanta Braves and the Boston Red Sox. I'm not going to bet on the Dodgers-Astros, but I am interested to see the reaction of the Astros fans to the Dodgers and how the Dodgers are still either not coming off of 2017. I think it's 4 years, boys. I think it's time to move on. I think you have a better team than the Astros. Clayton Kershaw, who didn't have a lot of success in the 2017 World Series, but did pitch well against the Astros last year, goes up against Zach Greinke. Clayton Kershaw, slight favorite, even with all the Dodgers injuries, but the Astros bats are on fire right now, and they are pushing the A's in the American League West. Again, I told you about the Flaherty-Giolito story, St. Louis, Chicago. Jack Flaherty is an underdog. The White Sox are really, really good, and Lucas Giolito is a really, really good pitcher. But do you go against an 8-0 pitcher? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that on Twitter or on Facebook or anywhere on the email, MTMAR Podcast at gmail.com. 8-0, an under 3 ERA, plus 127. You're not going to find him as an underdog the rest of the year for Jack Flaherty, Lucas Giolito, and the White Sox. NBA-wise, I just don't think Boston is very good right now. I still think they're coming off the COVID effects. Tatum's great. Kemba Walker's great. Jaylen Brown's been okay since he's coming off injury. I don't even know if he's going to play tonight. They're down 0-1. They're a 9-point underdog, 227 the total. Brooklyn seems like they can get out of bed and score 130 points. Kevin Durant, and they don't play with each other. Kevin Durant, Harden, and Irving all play together, but it looks like Harden's the one who's controlling the ball, dishing it off, and shooting when he needs to. They are somewhere around 25-8 in the regular season after they traded for James Harden. He's an MVP candidate. There's no doubt about it. Check the Phoenix Suns injury list before you take the Lakers or the Suns game tonight, because Chris Paul hurt his shoulder. He had a contusion in the shoulder. God bless him. He's a tough guy. He tried to play through that, dribbling with one hand, and every time he shot the ball, he push-shot it like we did when we were in 5th and 6th grade. If he's out tonight or if there's an injury list that with him on it, that line might go up to 5. So if you think the Lakers are going to win, I'd take it now to 1.5. And then if Chris Paul is out, that line goes up, then you got a bargain at minus 1.5. But if you think Chris Paul is going to play and you like Phoenix to go up 2-0, take the Suns tonight at plus 1.5. I like the under at 210. Both teams are outstanding on defense, and they both go through shooting slumps. I like the Dallas Mavericks a lot. I don't trust their defense, but the way they played on Saturday against the Clippers, Doncic came through, Porzingis came through. They have Tim Hardaway Jr. that came through. Jalen Brunson came through. There are a lot of guys on that team that can shoot the ball. And for about a 5-minute possession to the end of the fourth quarter, they D'd up against Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and all the other offensive machinery that the Clippers have. So it's going to be interesting. The line goes up from 6 to 7 for the Clippers in Game 2. Dallas looking to take a 2-0 series lead. All right, those picks that we have, I'm going to take for basketball, I'm going to take the under in the Lakers-Suns game. I'm going to take the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm going to take the Dallas Mavericks. So those 3 games, I'm going to take the underdog, the favorite, and the total. Lakers under 210, Brooklyn -9, Dallas Mavericks +7. Hey, they won outright at +6. Why can't they win outright at +7? So those are the 5 picks I have, the 2 baseball games and the 3 basketball games. Join us every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific, right here on Facebook and YouTube. Download and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Please download, subscribe, share it amongst your friends. If you're in the sports wagering business, if you're in just a regular gambler, just want to get some advice on it, please feel free to join Casey Freelove, Charlie O, and myself 3 days a week. And then we'll do our little minutes, and check out our social media pages. We'll post picks on there as well, too, when we don't do a broadcast. Again, for Charlie O on assignment, Casey Freelove on assignment, I'm Vasu Vaddiparty. Check out stablesmedia.com for all the great shows. Check out our counterparts at Hustle and Grind. They have great shows on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays as well, with Joe Madden, Cammie Parsons, Lisa Diaz, and then also the other Stables Media programming with different topics and different subject matter that you get, whether you're into music, whether you're into lifestyle, whether you're into dating, whether you're into rock and roll. Check out all the shows on stablesmedia.com. That's where you can find all the shows as well as all the podcasting sites. All right, I'm Vasu Vaddiparty. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you on Thursday, 4:15 Eastern, 1:15 Pacific on Facebook and YouTube. For Charlie and Casey, I'm Vasu Vaddiparty. Have a great afternoon. Good luck with your games, and we'll see you soon.